And all of this started from a couple of key little issues, which I'll talk about in a little bit. And it's like, well, you need this person, you need that person, you need this person. It's like, man, we don't got no money, we don't got nothing, we're just gonna figure it out. And so Cleo's been with us since the very beginning, believing in us. Look, man, we love this guy. He's invaluable. Even if we paid him $1 million, it wouldn't be enough. And so just a bit about his background. He hails from Chi-Town, Chicago, particularly around agriculture. So John Deere, Case, New Holland, and Mahindra, being everything from president to vice president to CMO. And so for us, he's basically a fractional CMO advisor and consultant. And so he's going to give his welcome. After he gives his welcome, Elaine and I will come back with a few words, and we're going to get right into this thing and show you all why we're here. So, Cleo, the floor is yours. You got a little bit of feedback in the background.
Much time because I think Cleo said so much. I'm just going to go back a little bit to when I was finding my calling as a teacher. I kept writing down things I wanted to do, and the word teach, help, and lead kept coming up. And that's right around the same time that Festus was writing Ladder Your Success, the book, and gave me a copy, and I read the whole book. I think I read it in like 2-3 days, which is very rare because I don't do that too often. I don't read books like that fast. And I came back to Festus and I said, Festus, this is it. I don't know what it is, but this is it. This is it. And so that started off a journey of him sending me random emails every once in a while to, I started teaching, and then we would go to, well, actually, as I was becoming a teacher, we would go to Sharpstown High School and work with the kids at Sharpstown. We would do some podcasts, and, we're still trying to figure it out. And then, of course, every idea needs a spark, and ours was in the frame of a deep-voiced Igbo man by the name of Wesley Okeke. And he came in and he just started dropping a lot of knowledge for us that really, really helped us out. And it's just really awesome to see how far we've come. In a little bit, Festus is going to show you the first iteration of the app. And he's going to show you the second iteration of the app. I want you to understand that what you see in the first and in the second, the heart of what we do is the same with both. Honestly, what it is AI and technology to help it come together a little bit better. But what I would like for y'all to do is as you're looking at the app, I want you to start thinking about people in your network, educators, parents, students that can possibly use this. Because we're going to start doing some beta tests. We're going to start trying to see what we can do to make this more impactful. It's already very impactful right now, but what good is it if the people who are using it aren't able to get the most out of it?
You all are an extension of my family, and there's these deep spiritual truths that when we live them, we're able to connect. You know what I'm saying? Like even if you haven't met a person before, and then you meet them, and then you're like, that person is just like me. It's something that resonates inside of you when you meet certain people, and so that's what all of you in this room mean to me, in one form or another. A little bit about my background and why we got started was I lost both my parents when I was in high school. And so when I lost both my parents in high school, I didn't really have a plan or strategy on how to move forward in life, right? And some of you, can resonate with that. And so it was the fact that I had some teachers who would pull me to the side, have different conversations with me. I had teachers who would kind of bend the rules a little bit because they understood my situation at that time, right? And then beyond all of that, having mentors and people who you could look up to and you say, man, how did they do that? How did they do this? And then for me personally, it's, having Christ in my life, because without that, I don't know how anybody's living. I really don't know. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just, life is too difficult. You know what I mean? So for me, I set out at first to help my younger siblings, because I was like, you know what? My parents passed away. Just because I'm going through hardship doesn't mean they need to. And so I wanted to just kind of build some kind of way for them to have a foundation in life. And so Dr. Garbarino, one of my mentors from Houston Baptist, unfortunately he wasn't here. He wasn't able to make it today. He asked me a question when I was graduating from college at 30. And he said, like, what are you going to do next? And so most people graduate today 22, 23. And I just started becoming an adult and living my own life at 30. And so I said, man, I think I'm going to write a book. He was like, you know how to write a book? No. He was like, all right, let me show you some websites. So he started showing me some websites. You know what? I started getting engaged in youth ministry. I was like, you know, I'm gonna get engaged in youth ministry. So I would take what I was doing in class, turn it into a book, and that became the book, Laddering Your Success. And so, I was kind of proud of myself. And so I'm like, yo, I wrote a book. And then I'm like, the people are like, what's it about? I'm like, it's helping students get to their next level in life, what they're gonna do. And then people are like, kids don't read books. Dang. so like, just wasting my life, right? So then my next move was I'm gonna build an app. And then as classic Festus does, people be like, how you gonna do that? I don't know, but I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? And so this is I wish I could be healed from that. Deliver me, Lord. And so this became the next steps. And people said, well, how are you gonna take the book and make it make sense to everybody? 8 resources to take the profile that the student has and offer careers that are best aligned to them. And so based off of the score that they get, and that's what you're seeing here, is do they need a B, do they need a no, or do they need a do? And so both for the educator and the student. So now they'll have an idea of what that career is. They can save that career. They can see the future of that career. So then that way it's aligned to what they ultimately want to do. So now the conversations are different in the classroom. The conversation from the lesson is straight up aligned to, hey, we see that you can be a graphic designer. You want to be a graphic designer, we need to get these grades. We need to do this. So now it's helping the teacher develop deeper relationships with their students, but also it's helping the student understand what's important to them. And so it also, depending on what the student's grade level is, will give them an idea of what they need to do, what next steps they need to take for their career. Then it tells them exactly the pathways to get there. So then the student can be better prepared. And then assigning the students to the classroom so you can send the work directly to the students, and their parents can also see this as well.
Like a blackboard type of vibe?
Like close to a blackboard, exactly. Close to a blackboard. And then finally, jam sessions with teachers to create lessons collaboratively so that they can have input on those lessons. And then for the lessons themselves, a resource library for example, if you want to do, you kind of, what's that?
Khan Academy.
Yeah, exactly. So you're saying, hey, I want a Khan Academy and math, and then, I want to make it private. You could do those different types of things and create those resources and then send them to either your students or add them to your lesson plan, those different types of things. So obviously this app does so much. And one of the things we're going to in the future, and again, this is where we need your help, is keeping track of, and mine is slightly different because it's a system level, but it helps teachers keep track of how many lessons they made, how many lessons they shared, their overall goals, where they are on covering standards, so that they'll know if they're in line with the scope and sequence and things like that. It also let them know there be no due distribution on how they're creating the lessons. So are they focused too much on purpose? Are they focused too much on strategy, or do they need to focus more on developmental milestones, right? And then obviously, how do you share this? How do you get points? And eventually, we're going to turn this into affiliate so that teachers could actually get paid based off of sharing their lessons and different types of things like that. So that's going to be here. And then tab for professional development as well, so that teachers could continue to develop. And so I don't want to take all day on this, so I want to hear you all's feedback on seeing this. And then we got a QR code because we need y'all to join our beta group to give us closer feedback, to tell us, hey, fix this, do that. You guys will have free access to the app. Thank you for coming. And so that way we can improve it. And it does also work for homeschooling parents as well. So they're considered educators as well. So that you could use it that way. And so there's still a lot more here. We don't have enough time to cover it tonight. But I want to thank each of you. Thank you for watching our podcast. Thank you for coming to these events. Thank you for giving us advice. Thank you for picking up the phone. Thank you for answering text messages. Thank you for liking us on social media. Thank you for liking us in real life. Thank you. So another round of applause for this friend. And so I guess I'll take questions and then we can get into feedback. Yes.
No, question, feedback.
Yeah.
Starting the chain. Okay, so goals and grows. First, I think you should really highlight the fact that the base of your information is coming from paid educators, because that's what's going to differentiate you from just Magic School AI or just AI in general. So that should be your selling point when you're talking to schools and teachers, because that's the differentiator. And as you grow, that would be another way to, like, you're hiring teachers in Texas, or we have a leader at, Cypher ISD, or a leader at LYS Prep, and that leader is in charge of accommodating these lessons, and maybe they're getting an affiliate. So that's the way to keep it kind of local and maximize what you're already starting to do. And then the comment that I have for the classroom section, I don't know yet that is something that I would, as an on your end, spend so much time with, because assigning things to students requires like a Google login. Some schools are Google based, some schools are only Outlook, some schools don't allow the students to receive any of that information. So that would be kind of a touch and go point, and I can see this being almost like a teachers pay teachers, where it's only teacher facing. We take the resources and we give it to each other or use it in our classroom. So I don't know if I would go with that, spend too much time with that.
A tracker of progress for students. Like, I accomplished A, B, and C. I did my due diligence. I studied this, I studied that, so I can cross it and move to the next phase of my development. Like, because you know how, like, sometimes you get a workout tracker and your progress, sometimes they give you graphics of your muscles development, and then you get all these extra reps. You get more reps in, the more times you practice a problem, because sometimes, some of the boys like playing video games, and the more battles you fight, the more experience you get. So sometimes I wonder, if I do more math problems, I get incentive, or I keep my boost up my XP experience.
Gotcha.
So it's something like, I don't know, you kind of gamify some of the analytics of, like, okay, I accomplished this stuff in my student's version, and then I see the progress he's making. He does harder problems now. He wants to get further up in the ranks.
To improve the tracker, right? So it tracks the being, knowing, doing. It also tracks their journey, okay, so that they could continue to take assessments to see how they're growing personally. It also has some gamification where basically they get badges, and it unlocks badges based off of how they're executing on their goals. Then again they can and I don't want to get too deep into it, but they can create a journal for reflections. They can add milestones that they want to accomplish, and then so for example, here's one. It's just that first self-discovery you guys see me take, and then they could create a portfolio based off of their work, and that portfolio that portfolio, as they make that portfolio off their work, they could add it to LinkedIn or Handshake, and then be able to show off their work and also share it online. So that might be something that's maybe a little bit more toward the homeschool audience than the gen ed audience. But no, we need your help to improve it. So yes, definitely.
From 12th to graduating, that's basically what happens. And so if you're able to share that in a way that a teacher can use and then add that to their, and present it in an art meeting, that would also be beneficial.
100%. And that's, I think the big thing is empowering the student to say, this is what I want to do. And then showing them that, like, hey, based off the work I'm doing, I'm getting closer to my personal goal. So thank you for that.
Real quick, besides me and my wife, is there anybody else in here in the homeschool community? Or is everybody teach? Okay. All right. This is a gym for the homeschool community, bro. I mean a gym. You know what I'm saying? This is gonna rescue so many moms. You know what I mean? Like so many. With that said, I have two things. What is as far as pricing after the beta phase, right? Is it subscription based? Is it based on how many students, the price, or how's that go?
So very, very, very good question, and thank you for that input. So we did talk to homeschoolers when we were putting this together, and looking at what was happening with homeschool, what was happening in our state, and what was happening also globally too, post-pandemic. And some people were just opting out of public schools, and some people were creating micro schools. So we talked to micro school founders and charter school founders as well, where it's like, hey, we don't have the same level of resources that a public school has. And so on that point, you are able to, as a homeschooling parent, not just to develop the lessons for your student, but from a charge standpoint, it starts at free, right? So basically, you're able to start for free, but then there's a limit, and so that limit is free without creating an account, and then it's going to be $5 per month lessons. Okay, so you don't get access to the assignment generator unless you're paying $15 a month. Okay, so for and per grade level student, he's like, yo, it's too cheap. It's too cheap. So those are things that we're still trying to work out, because from our standpoint, we want to do good and make money, and so we have to balance how much the actual tech is going to cost us, because there is a cost for it on the back end. For the free accounts, we're going to be able to run ads, but then we also have to balance what people can afford to pay consistently. You know, whether they're a micro school founder, homeschool parent, or whatnot. So about $500 a year per grade level subject. So if you got a seventh grader and you're doing ELA, that'll be about $500 a year, you know, per subject. Your seventh grader is doing math, so like that's seventh grade, that's $5. And then you got a ninth grader, that's $5. You see what I'm saying? That's kind of where we're going now. But that's why we need y'all's feedback as well, to make sure we could do the tweaks so that it fits for educators in public school, but also fits for homeschool parents.
How would we, as educators, get access to the app?
So it's free access online once we release it. Our game plan is we need to do betas over the next month, and then release it. This is February, so we'll do that through February. March, we plan to release it by April, because we have to get back with the tech team. They got to finish out the back end, basically how the back end would work, and then it'll be ready for August.